Nick, it's great to have you and look forward to our chat quickly here. What I'm really intrigued about is the research that Redox uh, released recently. And what's really interesting to me is just that, the amount of people, healthcare executives, who view uh, generative AI and application of generative AI to solve some very interesting problems across areas like reducing the administrative burden, patient engagement and marketing, or explanation of benefits, and even complex things like prioritization review. Um, it's amazing to see how many executives think there's clear application, and of course there are clear applications. But if you had just released this report about 6 months earlier, it might not have been as easy to communicate the value for AI, even though there's been a lot of innovation in there. I'm curious to see how that, based on the recent conferences you've attended, as well as the research from this, the survey. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course. And thanks, Raheel, for having me back on the Productive Edge show. But yeah, fundamentally, I think I was a little surprised by the Sage Growth research that we did. Quite frankly, as you kind of alluded to, the advent of ChatGPT, I think really has sort of humanized this like barrier around AI. And I think, healthcare organizations broadly, different types of providers, payers, health information exchanges, what have you, they've always known that like, hey, the cloud is the place that I need to be. I know that's where I can solve many major business problems, and there's all kinds of tooling at my fingertips. But there's always been this veil of like, well, do I need this really large data science team or not? Like, how do I do AI? How do I do ML? And I think what some of the advent of some of the generative AI tooling has sort of humanized that a little bit for people and gone, hey, this is approachable. I'm just going to have a conversation with the tool, and I'm going to be able to orient the outcomes that I'm looking for from a data modeling perspective. Now, we all know that it's a little bit more complicated than that, right? You don't spit out clinical care algorithms just by talking with a chatbot. But fundamentally, I think what's really interesting is like we're starting to see healthcare organizations accept the move to the cloud. Like it's gotten past the taboos of security. You've seen the HIPAA compliance and the high trust and all the other things that the major hyperscalers have kind of gone into. And now you're starting to see people are realizing, in addition to the compute power, storage, and all the other amazing aspects that cloud technology brings, you're starting to see the pairing of those tools now in the AI space that feel approachable for healthcare organizations that maybe don't have a large and robust data science team to solve some of their business problems.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nick. I think the idea that the cloud, just getting over that hump from a cloud adoption perspective. I think that if you look at the maturity of where we find clients and our healthcare clients in, essentially saying, okay, I've crossed that hump. What's the next thing that I can do to unlock value? And that value is in the data. And when you think about how can we use data, but of course AI, machine learning models and solutions like generative AI can really take advantage of that data. But if we were to step back and kind of talk a little bit about the other part of this research, which is just clinical interoperability and the role that that can play in ensuring that you've got the right amount, the right data to be able to actually unlock that next level of value. I'm just curious as to your thoughts on, of course, Redox being primarily a interoperability platform. How does cloud and that interoperability now combine together to advance some of these new capabilities in AI that we were talking about?
Yeah, I think one of the other insightful things about the research is, there's the obvious nudge of like, oh, this is this pie in the sky idealistic place where these AI and ML tools can help bring me there. But then there's some truth about, the folks that we interviewed across 130 plus organizations about what the road looks like to get to that ideal spot on the top of the mountain, right? And the truth of that matter is they have lots of legacy systems, lots of inherent different data format types. And at the core of it, there is a process by which, there's shortfalls in human capital, financial capital, and other aspects in order to get to these outcomes that you're looking for. And so the research does a great job of highlighting what the realities of that looks like in terms of a timeline expectation. Like, how long should I be spending on these things before I get to the promised land that AI and ML are dangle in front of me? And then what does it look like in terms of a human capital personnel capital, financial capital in terms of an investment to get to those outcomes that I'm looking for. And I think one of the, another elements of the research that indicates is just like, how do I go and find the right partner to smooth that challenge on that path for me? And so that I don't have to hire a 30-person data science team to get where I need to go. I don't have to build a 15-person data integration and transformation team to get data out of my EHR or my financial system or claims or what have you in order to make use of those broad scale tools that cloud provides on the other side. So I think really insightful that both payer and provider organizations give their perspective in the report, and just a reality about the challenges that step through organizations as they're making this move to cloud is kind of the other thing that stood out to me.
Awesome. Well, very good. Thank you, Nick, for taking the time. There's definitely a lot of interesting insights in that white paper and that research report. Highly recommend for you to take a quick read at it. And remember, there's always an opportunity to unlock value iteratively. Speed to market is an enabler for unlocking a lot of these values, and moving to the cloud and adopting clinical interoperability tools in a way that can unlock iterative value is an important element of how we, both Redox and Productive Edge, believe we can make an impact in the short term and the long term in healthcare, and by adopting a lot of these technologies. So take a look at that report, and we will talk to you again soon.